everybody, and welcome back to my channel. For all of you guys who don't know me, hi, I'm Jazzy and I post college related videos specifically around nursing. So it's been a while since I posted a nursing kind of video, but I thought it would be really cool to do this one to kind of teach you how I practice landmarking when I didn't always have somebody with me, and I really did have to practice. I also did a video in the past of my health assessment tips and tricks, so if you guys would like to see that, I'm just going to move these flowers because I have a feeling Leia's going to want to sit beside me. But I did post a video in the past all about my tips and tricks on passing basic health assessment, so if you guys want to go see that, for sure, go ahead. But I'm going to show you guys today how I practice landmarking. I'm going to use myself. I don't have somebody I can do it on, but I kind of am going to show you how I practiced on myself, okay? So if you are doing it on yourself or with somebody else, still hitting those same landmarks. So whether it's with someone or by yourself, this will work either way. So I'm going to go ahead and get started. But to do landmarking, you are going to need a stethoscope. I do have a Littmann stethoscope. It's just a basic gray stethoscope. And I also need some stickers, and I just grabbed these ones from the dollar store, and I'm just going to be placing them on myself to show you where the landmarking is, okay? So before we get started though, don't forget to subscribe to this channel, don't forget to give this video a thumbs up, and don't forget to comment down below any questions or video requests that you guys may have. Also, don't forget to follow me at The Jazzy Journal on TikTok and Instagram. Saying that, let's get into this video. So, to start off with, I am going to pull out these little deck of cards. Just want to kind of show you that I do have these on sale on my Etsy shop right now. It is a head-to-toe assessment summary. This is everything I had to know for my CIA exam, my final health assessment exam. So I just wanted to make sure that you guys know about this. It is on my Etsy shop. But I am going to go ahead and grab the cardiovascular assessment and the respiratory assessment. Because this is what we're going to be doing today for landmarking. So I have these two cards in my deck, and it is available on Etsy again, and it kind of has the little landmarks, an example where you are landmarking, okay? So I'm going to have those right here in front of me. So to start, now, when you are doing the front, it is always going to be easier on a male than it is with a female, and that was the case in our health assessment. I did have a chance to do assessments on both, but for my exam I did get stuck with the female. So today we're going to be going through starting with the cardiovascular, which is only in the front. Remember that you want your patients kind of laying down, not sitting up like you would for respiratory. You want them laying down, put a pillow under their neck. And you're going to go ahead and feel those spaces, okay? We have 5 places where I had to hit the mark, and it was our aortic, pulmonic, Erb's point, tricuspid, and the mitral, okay? So I'm going to show you guys how I practiced on myself and what helped me with my CIA. So by practicing on myself, I kind of realized how much pressure I had to apply without it hurting and being able to find those spaces. So remember, for your aortic, it's going to be on the second intercostal space on that mid-sternal border. So you're going to make sure you're going on the right-hand side, okay? So you're going to feel for that second intercostal space, and remember your mid-sternal border is right there where your sternum is. So you're going to find that space and go all the way to that mid-sternum border, okay? So I'm going to go ahead and grab a sticker, and we're going to mark that off. So this is how I practiced on myself, and again, I started to realize how much pressure I needed to apply, and it just helped me feel around on what I was looking for, okay? Next, I'm going to go to the next sound here, and I'm going to just move over, right? And that's going to be your pulmonic. So it's going to be second intercostal space at mid-sternal border, okay? And that is right in there. So you can see that they're lined up beside each other, okay? And I mean, if you want to feel around for your second one, or you can just move across, it's totally up to you. But these two are neighbors, I like to say. So you start with your aortic, and your pulmonic will be on your left-hand side, right where the heart is, okay? So next is going to be our Erb's point. Now, Erb's point is just below, so you're going to feel that second point, and you're going to look for that third. So my third point is in here, okay? So I'm going to go ahead, take my third point, Now this is where it gets tricky on women. We don't want to oscillate above the breast tissue, okay? So when I am osculating, I would get my patients to see if they can move their breasts out of the way. I would ask them, can you please push down on your breast and bring it outwards towards your armpit or something like that, where I can really help hear those sounds there, okay? And remember that when you're doing your cardiovascular, it is very in the center. You do not want to move out. It's right against that mid-sternal border, okay? So that's your third. Now I'm going to go to the fourth, and the fourth I'm going to go over my shirt here. So this is our third. So I'm going to go down, and right in there is my fourth. Okay, obviously you want to try and do this without articles of clothing on top, which could muffle the sound, but in this case I'm going to show you that way, okay? So we have those. So we have our aortic, pulmonic, our Erb's point, tricuspid, okay? So next is our mitral. So this was actually a really good tip. Tricuspid, we're taught this by an instructor, was that on women it's usually right where the bra line is, so you don't have to go and feel around too much. Or you can always find that mid-sternal notch, so right where your sternum ends, so right in there, and it goes into your your rib cage comes down to that lower slope there, that downward slope. You go in there and you actually go through, because remember that your mitral is always with the mid-clavicular line. Woo, not enough coffee today. And so you want to come down and find that mid-sternal notch and right around, and that will be where your mitral valve will be, and that's where you'll be listening to. And now that works on men and female. Obviously on a man you can definitely feel for that fifth intercostal space, but in women it might not be that easy, so that's a good way to actually be able to look for it and mark it, okay? Other thing is when you are listening, make sure that the woman is bringing their breast upwards, okay, towards them. Get them to lift their breast so it's easier for you to listen under there, okay? So that is your aortic, pulmonic, Erb's point, tricuspid, and mitral. This is how you are listening to, this is where you are landmarking for your cardiovascular. And then of course you take your stethoscope, remember, always towards your nose. With my class, we always list with the diaphragm, not the bell. But they do say in the textbook that you could use your bell if it is like you are not able to hear, because it is easier to hear it with the bell. But for my CIA, we had to use the diaphragm of our stethoscope. Making sure to listen for S1 and S2 over each landmarking spot, okay? And making sure you're not hearing any of those abnormal sounds, you're not hearing any extra bumps, if that makes sense. That is landmarking for cardiovascular, and I'm going to go ahead and show you the front for respiratory. Okay, so next is respiratory, okay? So for respiratory, it is a little bit more, there's a lot more to auscultate. So I'm going to go ahead and do the front with you to make sure that you guys are hitting those spots that you need to. But on the back, I won't be able to show you very well, so I'll just kind of point on my front. We'll figure it out. But on the front, okay, you're always making sure to start in this little spot above your clavicles. So you're always, number one is listening in these little notches in here. Then you're going to go into your next intercostal space there, which, okay? So you're just looking for those spaces, and again, you can go ahead and feel every single time. I know on my exam I did, but if you're already getting one notch on this side, like if you already feel like this is their next oscillating site, why not just move across and do it like that, right? So that's why they kind of make you go in the S pattern, where you go 1, 2, and you keep going down, okay? That's a good way of doing it. Then I'd go to 3. So remember, there are 10 oscillating sites on our front, and there are 16 on our back, okay? Again, I will do the mid-sternal notch again, so finding that notch, coming around, and I'm listening here on the outer side here. Finding that notch, coming across, and then feeling for that space. And you are coming more outwards than branching inwards, okay, if that makes sense. So there are the sites that I would auscultate. Again, take your stethoscope. When you are doing this, every time you place the diaphragm onto your patient's body, you're making sure that they are breathing in and out. Now, tips for this is, one, make sure you're heating up your diaphragm, because it does get cold. I know for my CIA, my partner did not, and every time she put the diaphragm down, it felt like torture. So just, warm it up a little bit for them, okay? Then put it on. Before you put it on, let your patient know that by saying and communicating with them and saying, every time you feel my diaphragm touch your skin, take a deep breath in and out for me. Now, saying in and out will just make them go. It's easier to say because you will hear those sounds way better if you tell your patient, every time you feel my diaphragm, can you take a deep breath in and out through your mouth for me? Which would make them now go, which makes it a lot easier to hear the lung sounds. So make sure you're using your patient the best way you can and you're communicating with them, okay? Just to make your life a lot easier with these assessments. So you're making sure, so I'd start here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, okay? So you're listening for those sounds, you're looking for bronchovesicular, vesicular. Make sure that you are trying not to go around their clothing. Make sure that you're not also listening on their clothing as best as you can, okay? Clothing does sometimes muffle the sound and can actually cause you to hear abnormal sounds that are not really there, okay? So try and listen under the clothing as best as possible. During my CIA, I know we would just lift like the shirt up or anything like that, maybe lift and place the diaphragm in under the shirt and hold this part away from the diaphragm because it does muffle the sound, okay? So just try and listen on bare skin. That's when you're going to hear the best sounds, okay? Now, for the back, I am not going to go ahead and show you much because I just physically can't hit all those marks. But I'm going to show you how you get it started because on the back it is harder to feel those intercostal spaces. So I'm going to tell you a little bit of what you should be doing, okay? And I'm going to grab my little whiteboard that will help us so I can kind of describe what we're doing here, okay? I mark your first spot. Get your patient to bring their chin to their chest, and that's going to bring out C7, okay? Now, with C7, you're literally just going to move across, and those are going to be your first auscultating sites. Auscultate the back, I like to really pinpoint where everything is. So I do like to see the C7, and I'll kind of feel down the spine and make sure you're not going past that T12. Okay, they've told us so many times in CIA, if you're oscillating all the way down here by the hips, you are really not over the lungs anymore, okay? So I really like to take my patients, pinpoint that C7, get them to bring their chin to their neck, pinpoint that C7, find those two spots, and I also like to feel down and see if I can find where that T12 is, okay? Just to make sure I'm not going past that. Now, when you are also oscillating on the back side, we have our scapulas here, okay? And these are what you do not want to auscultate over, okay? And I can take off my sweater here and show you as I go like this. You can probably see there on my right, there's these big bones here, okay? These are not what you want to auscultate over my hips, just like me, okay? So here's our back. So you remember, you're locating your C7. You're getting them to bring their chin to their chest, okay? Once you do, your oscillating sites are just alongside that, okay? Now, there are 16 spots on the back. So you're going, actually I'll grab a different color for this so that we don't mix them up. I'll be taking, these are my ones, okay? So 1, 1, 2, 2. Now, this is where your scapula is, okay? So you want to make sure, I'm actually doing that wrong. 2, 2, 3, 3, 4, 4, 5, 5, 6, 6, 7, 7. Now, this is where it gets tricky. You're going to go 8, 9, 8, 9. Okay, so you're going 1, 1, 2, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. That's kind of how I do it. I don't know if that makes sense, okay? But as you can see, the lines here, what I was talking about is where you're doing the C is, I'm going to mark, here's your scapula, here's a scapula, okay? So you want to see, if you see the blue on this side, you're kind of going like this. And then right where that rib, where you get those downward slopes of the rib, you come out and that's where you osculate those. Okay, so you're kind of completely going over this and you're kind of getting really close to that spine at one point, okay? So that's kind of how I auscultate the back. So as soon as I get there to auscultate, locate C7, try and feel for T12 so I'm not going past my T12 in my spine, okay? And then I do the 8 and 9. Okay, so that's the best way I can put it without, you know, because I can't physically come and show you guys how to auscultate the back, but that's what I do, okay? So that is just some landmarking tips and tricks for you guys. What I can say though is when you're doing your cardiovascular and respiratory, some of the main tips, like I said in this video, are finding that brawl line or finding that sternal notch there and moving to the mid-clavicular line or 5th osculating site. That is a good pinpoint. The other one is your C7 on where to start when you get on the spine, making sure to avoid your scapulae. And then you are also making sure to always auscultate in this notch first. I find that a lot of people go directly under the clavicle, but we have to listen up here first. Also, when you're listening to sounds, understand where you're listening to your vesicular, bronchovesicular, or bronchial sounds. So make sure you understand the difference between those two. And in your cardiovascular, another thing I would say is, actually this goes throughout your cardiovascular and your respiratory on the front side, at least the anterior side. I'd make sure that you are, if you are doing it on a woman, make sure you're using your patient and getting them to move their breast out of their way, okay? Also, making sure, because you do not want to listen over any breast tissue or articles of clothing. So try your best to move around clothing as best as you can. And lastly, tip, locating that C7 when you're on the back. I told that to a lot of my friends before our CIA and it helped them so much. So when you get to that back, find where you're going to be auscultating on the back, kind of pinpoint what's too far, where are you, where is everything before you start, okay? And that helps a lot when you're doing it on the back. So that's kind of how I practiced on myself to do sounds when it came to school. I would practice obviously when I got to my labs, and I did practice on Connor, on my parents, on my grandparents, but a lot of the time they weren't around, right? So I had to really I needed extra practice, so I learned to kind of do it on myself, feel around. Even if I was just watching TV, I was like sitting there like feeling the intercostal spaces and doing what I needed to understand where everything was. So definitely do that. If you're sitting watching TV, just feel around on yourself and find all those intercostal spaces. It creates muscle memory too, where you'll be able to look at somebody and be like, okay, you kind of won't even really need to feel around. You'll also become more familiar with what everything feels like. So definitely I do recommend that. I hope this video, guys, helped you a little bit and helped you with your health assessment. Of course, like I said at the beginning of this video, I did do a health assessment tips and tricks video. I will post that in the description box, okay? And also this health assessment deck here for your CIA is on my Etsy. I will also go post that in the description box if you guys would like this. Saying that, that is the end of our video, guys. I wish you the best of luck for whatever reason you came to this video today. I hope that it helped you out. Good luck in your future endeavors, future nurses, and I will definitely try and put some more videos like this up. It's just sometimes it's hard being able to do these videos because I don't have anybody else to film with, so I try to explain it as best as I can on myself. I hope the stickers helped and it helped you guys in some way. Before we end this video today, don't forget to follow me at thejasijournal on TikTok and Instagram. Don't forget to subscribe to this channel or give this video a thumbs up if it helped or you liked it, and don't forget to comment down below any video requests or questions that you guys may have. Saying that, I will see you guys in my next video. Bye, guys.